Dear Chosen One, the veil has been torn, and what was hidden is now screaming to be seen. The same ancient adversaries who once hunted prophets now wear suits, hold offices, and sign decrees wrapped in false virtue. They speak peace while birthing oppression. They move like shadows dressed as leaders, building systems meant to suffocate the light carriers. Their strategy is not new. It is ancient rebellion rewritten in modern language. They feared your awakening, so they planted themselves in governments, waiting for the day the voice of the anointed would rise again. But this message is heaven's interruption. They cannot stop the one sent to fulfill divine cause. This war is not fought with weapons, nor won by noise. It is waged through presence, faith, and discernment. They attack credibility, twist truth through law, and disguise spiritual warfare as political order. Yet every move they make only reveals their desperation. You, Chosen One, are the signal they feared, the confirmation that the light has re-entered the battlefield. You are not here to fight like them, but to reign differently. Their thrones tremble not because of what you say, but because of what you carry. The eternal authority that governments cannot regulate. The system senses your awakening and panics. For power built on deceit cannot stand before a spirit rooted in truth. But hear this divine revelation. The elevation of your enemies was not a mistake. It was design. The Almighty allowed their rise for one reason only, that all creation might witness their fall. Their crowns are temporary, their authority borrowed, their time running out. And you, Chosen One, are the living sign of that countdown. The higher they lift themselves, the greater the stage of their exposure will be. Heaven moves silently, but never slowly. Every shaking in the world's systems is an announcement from above. The kingdom of light is reclaiming dominion. You are not the hunted. You are the harbinger. Before we go deeper, let me tell you something important. What I'm sharing here is part of a greater revelation I wrote in The Call to Prosperity. It's a 10-step journey to unlock your divine wealth, not just spiritually, but also in your finances and purpose. You'll find the link in the description and in the first pinned comment. You can check it later, or click now if your spirit already knows this message is for you. Chosen One, they built thrones from lies and inked deceit into law, believing human signatures could silence the pulse of prophecy. They forgot that authority drawn from fraud is dust before eternal decree. The Spirit now moves through the fractures of their empire, uprooting what men called order. Chosen One, you were never beneath them. Heaven seated you beyond the grasp of their influence, destined to watch the towers of manipulation bow before divine integrity and collapse under the weight of truth. The adversary standing before you is ancient and cunning, an old rebellion wrapped in new language. It does not change its essence, only its disguise. Division, confusion, and fatigue remain its familiar weapons. But awareness destroys invisibility. The moment your spirit awakens, deception dissolves. Darkness operates through ignorance. Light disarms it with sight. You are not resisting. You are redefining dominion. Heaven's fire within you becomes the command that shifts reality itself. In clandestine rooms they assemble, plotting through night to erase the voices that carry divine fire. They hold papers, draw plans, manipulate algorithms, and think their grip complete. Yet every whisper of truth from your lips tears another hole in their web. Heaven keeps record of all schemes crafted in silence. The measure of their deceit has already met the scale of divine justice. Their exposure is certain. Every hidden blueprint will be burned by revelation. The Spirit speaks. Respond not in rage, but with regal calm. Anger fuels the structure of your enemies, but spiritual authority dismantles it. When you act from alignment instead of reaction, heaven amplifies your voice like thunder. You were never designed to argue with the storm, only to command stillness. Presence becomes proclamation. Where others debate, you decree. The faithful do not shout to convince. They speak to create. Legions unseen march beside you. Though you walk through councils of opposition, you are never outnumbered. Angels go before and behind, intercepting snares invisible to mortal perception. Each ambush becomes your platform. Every conspiracy boomerangs into exposure. The same tables prepared for downfall will bear witness to your preservation. No plan designed in darkness survives the presence of divine company guarding your destiny. God's justice unfolds with deliberate patience. Heaven does not rush exposure. It crafts it with artistry. The seeming delay is design, allowing rebellion to reveal its fullness before judgment strikes. Each day of borrowed power grows the magnitude of their fall. The Almighty lifts their illusion high enough for all to see when it crumbles. No corruption escapes forever. The appointed hour comes like dawn, slow, certain, unstoppable. Your mission is not to retaliate, but to reveal. Vengeance operates within time. Revelation belongs to eternity. When silence covers you, it is not neglect, but preparation. Heaven trains rulers in stillness. Each plot strengthens your discernment. Heaven's strategies are quiet victories, where patience becomes the sword. The true conquerors win without noise, because victory itself begins invisible before it manifests tangible. Many have cried, "Why do the wicked prosper?" Yet prosperity built on deceit is a trap. Their success is temporary scaffolding raised for a spectacular fall. They wear the mask of triumph but tremble beneath it. Heaven measures differently. Truth outweighs appearance. The faithful are formed where spotlight cannot reach, and what grows unseen cannot be imitated. You are prepared in secrecy to reign with permanence when revelation strikes. Soon, confusion will breach their camp. Alliances will break under pressure of truth. Leaks and betrayals will expose the architects of manipulation. Networks that seemed eternal will decay overnight. What was solid shall turn liquid, slipping through their grasp. This is not chaos, but cleansing. The storm is a servant of purity. The winds of revelation sweep systems until nothing false remains standing. The Spirit whispers, "Do not fear the uproar." Noise only proves their desperation. Fear magnifies illusion. Peace dismantles it. Every moment you choose faith, the enemy fractures. Stillness becomes weapon. Serenity becomes dominion. No fear can coexist where divine order reigns. You walk clothed in calm authority, and every step echoes confrontation against unseen control. The tranquil vibration of your being is holy warfare. Yes, their eyes monitor. Their networks observe. They try to decode the frequency of your soul, mapping your rhythm through data and suspicion. But the Spirit cannot be scanned. Heaven's encryption surrounds you, its signal unbreakable. Surveillance may trace your steps, but never captures your intention. The sacred seal within confuses intrusion. What is saturated with divine essence remains untouchable and incorruptible. Among their institutions, heaven hides its own ambassadors. You are one of them. You move silently through corridors of influence, unbothered by ceremony. Your presence shifts atmospheres, documents lose weight, decisions reverse. Light walks politely, but never passes unnoticed. You are heaven's silent infiltration, destabilizing deception not through protest, but through existence, burning invisibly in the heart of their machine. Across nations, chosen ones awaken simultaneously. From deserts to cities, hearts ignite without meeting each other. They move as threads of the same divine current, a global network the dark cannot dismantle. No label holds them, yet they recognize one another in spirit. Prophecy is no longer waiting. It is unfolding in real time. The kingdom spreads through awakened consciousness, rewriting history from within. Remember always, exposure starts in the soul. Before wickedness falls outside, it must be purged inwardly. The chosen must stay undefiled, transparent before heaven. When the heart clears, authority multiplies. Inner purity attracts divine backing. Revolution begins in reflection. Once your motives align fully with light, no power formed against you survives. Transparency is invincibility clothed in spirit. The enemy's empire thrives on illusion, feeding from fear and confusion. They project false unity to conceal internal collapse. Every speech they give is a desperate chant to convince themselves they still have control. But heaven has already withdrawn its breath from their structure. The systems they built stand like monuments without life, echoing futility. Chosen one, never envy their power, for what is detached from divine order disintegrates in its own shadow. The Spirit reveals that exposure will come through their tongues. Those who plotted together will betray one another in panic. Secrets will be spilled like oil over fire. Collapse rarely happens from the outside. It begins within the circle that once conspired. Disorder has entered their camp, and no alliance forged in deceit can survive divine light. The web they spun tightens now around their own intent. You must remember that darkness always attempts to rewrite purity as rebellion. They will accuse you of the very crimes they commit. It is their oldest tactic, to confuse perception, to frame righteousness as threat. The wise will discern through silence. You do not need to defend the truth. Time will. The voice of heaven does not rush into argument. It lets exposure speak on its behalf. Some of their leaders sense the approaching reckoning, yet pride blinds them from repentance. The more fearful they grow, the louder their decrees become. They enforce laws to suppress awakening because they fear the power of individual enlightenment. But awakening cannot be banned. It is not an act. It is a force. The Spirit descends upon whoever seeks truth without condition, and no government has the code to contain it. Chosen one, you are the evidence of prophecy fulfilled. You are the contradiction their logic cannot dismantle. Your endurance disarms powers that feed on chaos. Even your stillness disrupts the machinery of deceit, for calmness emanates frequency. Do not underestimate the radiation of peace. It is weaponry forged by heaven itself. Every moment you remain unprovoked, the enemy's confidence shatters piece by piece. Heaven whispers that no effort is wasted. Every prayer, every tear shed in the quiet has registered in eternity. The unseen accumulation of obedience now manifests as breakthrough. What seemed dormant was preparation. Even your hidden seasons were not inactivity. They were incubation. Every delay becomes acceleration once divine timing meets readiness. You are entering that divine convergence now. Spiritual warfare is not chaos, it is orchestration. When the Spirit moves, even storms synchronize. The interruptions you once hated were divine rerouting. The paths you thought lost were merely concealed doorways. Heaven often hides destiny within detours. The wise learn to follow without sight, walking by vibration instead of vision. For revelation is not seen first. It is felt, then lived. The more the world structures shake, the more the chosen align. Destruction to one realm means construction in another. Systems fall so thrones of light can emerge. This is not collapse, it is correction. Prophecy cannot coexist with pollution. As cities tremble and nations argue, heaven sets new blueprints of governance through willing hearts instead of empires of control and greed. Do not mourn the shaking you witness around you. Chaos itself bows to divine order. What feels like collapse is the cleansing of vibration. Heaven purifies frequency through disruption. The truth must first discomfort before it delivers. You will see economies, religions, and governments stripped of disguise. Yet in the midst of it, the pure will prosper through unshakable peace. Some of you will be raised as interpreters of seasons. You will speak understanding where fear dominates. The Spirit will give words that cut fog like lightning. Your role is guidance, not reaction. You are to translate chaos into revelation. The nations will seek voices not of politics, but of purity. And those grounded in light shall instruct kings without needing crowns or stage. Opposition exists to train perception. Without enemies, discernment atrophies. You needed resistance to sharpen authority. Every false accusation was weightlifting for faith. The battle forged you harder than comfort ever could. Gratitude now should replace pain. Even betrayal became instruction. Through wounds, wisdom entered, and through wisdom, dominance is born. Heaven declares your name among the archives of prophecy. The identity of the chosen is never earned, it is remembered. You are reclaiming what was sealed within since beginning. That recognition terrifies darkness more than any word. Because once remembrance occurs, submission to fear ends. You are not awakening to something new, but returning to what eternity already decided. Watch how divine irony unfolds. Those who mocked your silence will one day quote your wisdom. Those who denied your insight will repeat your declarations as their own guidance. The rejected now becomes cornerstone. Heaven reverses narratives with elegance. Vindication never arrives angry, only radiant. Your rise will be undeniable because it will come wrapped in humility, illuminated by justice. And now the heavens shift focus toward restoration. After exposure comes reconstruction. The Spirit does not end in wrath, but reconciliation. God is not destroying systems to gloat. He purifies them to rebuild. You are part of that renewal, assigned to shape futures beyond corruption. The war ends not in destruction, but in divine governance, rooted in truth and light. The thrones of the world tremble, yet most do not know why. They attribute the shaking to economy, politics, or war, but the true reason is spiritual displacement. Heavenly authority is reclaiming space long hijacked by corruption. The earth feels the weight of transfer, and nothing built on manipulation will survive it. Chosen one, you are witnessing a dimensional realignment. Every false kingdom is crumbling under a decree that cannot be vetoed. For divine order is not negotiable. In the secret rooms of influence, rulers gather in fear disguised as confidence. They argue strategies, but intuition already betrays them. Something greater than policy is unfolding, and their control fades like smoke. They rise on screens, promise stability, but their eyes reveal exhaustion. The Spirit has withdrawn its tolerance for deception. Their systems of prestige now rot within. Power once borrowed is being recalled by the source who lent it in mercy. The Spirit instructs you to discern not by appearance, but by vibration. Every word carries a frequency, and even polished lies tremble when spoken without truth. Listen with your soul, and masks will dissolve before your eyes. Politics, religion, and culture may parade righteousness, yet energy never lies. Light recognizes counterfeit instantly. Your awareness is your defense. Your discernment is your shield. The awakened cannot be deceived indefinitely. They become mirrors of revelation itself. You were never meant to obey fear-based systems. Obedience to darkness is the origin of bondage. When humanity conformed, chains were forged. But when one voice breaks pattern, the frequency of freedom spreads like divine contagion. You, chosen one, are that interruption. You are the divine rebellion against artificial order. Your courage invites heaven's reinforcements. The moment you decided to no longer conform, heaven wrote your name among liberators. They think the war is about land, wealth, or influence, but the true currency is attention. Whoever dominates perception commands reality's stage. That is why the world floods you with noise, constant distraction, endless debate. Silence became rebellion, because silence reconnects you to the original source. When you unplug from chaos, deception loses host. Awareness is not learned through volume, but through stillness drenched in divine presence. You will notice how the proud begin to stumble over their own words. Their plans contradict, their speeches fragment mid-sentence. Confusion has been unleashed from within them. It is divine strategy. Heaven is dividing the languages of deceit, as once done in Babel. Their empires will no longer coordinate, and what they built through unity of darkness will dissolve in internal miscommunication. What once looked unbreakable now collapses in noise of disagreement. Do not misread the times. Disorder is not defeat. Heaven reshapes reality through tension. The shaking you witness is proof of transition, not chaos. Old wine cannot fit divine architecture. Let what breaks, break. You are not called to repair corruption, but to embody renewal. The Spirit reconstructs by allowing collapse, ensuring only what is rooted in purity remains. Every crumble clears soil for sacred rebuilding, where righteousness will govern again. Chosen one, stand firm even when silence screams. Heaven's timeline often demands isolation before elevation. The higher the calling, the quieter the preparation. Do not rush destiny. Authority that lasts is born in slow fire. What looks like delay is divine training. Your solitude sharpens discernment. You are being refined into leadership that cannot be seduced by validation nor shaken by opposition. Endure the silent forge. There will be nights when trust feels impossible. Yet faith is not absence of doubt, but mastery over it. Every storm outside mirrors a battle within. Do not despise conflict, for it reveals capacity. The Spirit uses turmoil as classroom, teaching dominance over emotion. You are not broken, you are being sculpted for command. Authority is never granted cheaply. It costs surrender of comfort and the discipline of faith in unseen promises. The world will call your peace delusion, your discernment arrogance. Do not argue. Their blindness is temporary. Those bound to systems cannot yet grasp the patterns of the Spirit. Speak only when heaven prompts, and your words will land like lightning. Divine timing transforms simple sentences into prophecy. The wise wait to strike. The reckless speak prematurely and lose authority. Your restraint is your weapon. Understand that many will envy the stability you carry during collapse. They will come seeking counsel, unaware that your wisdom was purchased through seasons of breaking. Remain compassionate but firm. Do not minimize your worth to comfort their confusion. You are called to shine, not to shrink. Empower them, but do not dilute your light for their approval. Remember, servants of truth cannot afford compromise disguised as humility. Heaven reveals that the divine economy is being activated. It is not measured in currency, but in obedience. Those aligned with light will prosper effortlessly because provision follows assignment. When you walk in alignment, creation itself becomes collaborator. Opportunities appear as response to faith. Prosperity will shift from greed-based gain to purpose-based flow. You are the vessel of that redistribution. Every hidden good deed you performed has been noticed. The unseen generosity, the quiet forgiveness, the prayers whispered for others, these were investments into eternity. Heaven now releases harvest. Fruit ripens where human eyes saw only barren soil. The divine remembers every seed. The miracle manifests slowly, but once it blooms, no opposition can uproot it. Everything sown in secret maturity becomes visible power. And now, a solemn call. Guard your heart above all. Power corrupted becomes poison. The chosen must maintain purity while wielding influence. Pride is the final test. Many conquer darkness but fall to arrogance. Stay grounded in gratitude. Remember that your victory is partnership, not ownership. Heaven flows through you to heal, not to exalt ego. The truly powerful remain kind. The ultimate crown is compassion. The system you see collapsing was never built on truth. It was constructed upon the illusion of permanence. For centuries, false kings have declared dominion over what does not belong to them, forging empires with promises that were never meant to last. The Spirit has tolerated their arrogance for one reason only, so justice could be seen, not merely proclaimed. Every institution detached from divine alignment now trembles. The ground beneath the counterfeit is eroding. Chosen one, you were raised to stand unshaken amid the quakes of divine correction. They have spent generations trying to rewrite the codes of morality, shifting boundaries, redefining purity as oppression and deception as wisdom. But light always reclaims its definition. Do not be dismayed when you see systems crumble. What is dying is merely the illusion of power. True authority is never granted by votes or wealth. It is breathed by heaven into the faithful. Those who gained thrones through manipulation are now confronting the expiry of their deception. Time no longer bends for falsehood. There will come days when chaos will spread faster than truth. Headlines will scream confusion. Nations will chase debates as if reason could save them. But in the center of that storm stands the chosen, calm, radiant, unbothered. You are not part of their panic. You are the eye of the tempest. Peace surrounds you like armor forged in eternity. Wherever you stand, order begins to form again because divine alignment follows presence, not politics. You are the proof that peace is stronger than propaganda. You will hear voices of despair calling prophets mad, saints irrelevant, and faith outdated. But history has always laughed before it bowed. Every spiritual awakening begins with public mockery and ends with collective awe. Let them ridicule. Heaven records reactions as seed for redemption. The foolish words spoken against light will soon become testimonies of conviction. Those who doubt now will one day testify that they once stood in the presence of the chosen generation. Heaven reveals that the storm cannot be avoided because the cleansing must be complete. Every dimension of influence, media, government, education, commerce, is being exposed. The Spirit enters every corridor like fire consuming decay. But this fire is surgical. It burns only what cannot remain. Righteousness is restoration disguised as destruction. When this cycle ends, purity will sit where corruption once ruled, and humility will replace arrogance as the new foundation of power. Chosen one, your preparation was long because your task is eternal. You were trained in silence so your words could carry thunder. Every painful season you endured was chiseling your tone for the hour of revelation. The world mistook your quiet for defeat, but heaven called it calibration. Power maturing in hiddenness becomes unstoppable when released. The long nights were not wasted. They were sculpting your authority so no man may claim credit for your resilience. Beware of distraction, for the enemy fears nothing more than undivided souls. They will tempt you to argue, exhaust you with noise, and lure you into meaningless battles. Refuse the bait. The greatest wars are now fought through attention. Guard your focus as sacred territory. Remember, not every cry deserves a response, and not every conflict requires your engagement. The wise choose silence strategically, knowing when stillness speaks louder than defense. You are entering a season of inversion, where the last will overtake the first, and the humble will embarrass the proud with excellence anchored in grace. Those mocked for being spiritual will thrive, while those who mocked them will seek guidance. Heaven elevates by paradox. The world must witness reversal so that faith becomes undeniable. When you are promoted, remember, honor in abundance is a heavier test than faith in lack. The Spirit shows that honor now flows to those rooted in authenticity. Masks are falling across nations. People crave realness, not perfection. Presence, not propaganda. Chosen souls carry fragrance the system cannot replicate. Their influence comes from essence, not effort. When you live aligned with truth, reality rearranges itself to accommodate your purpose. You attract not by convincing, but by radiating. That is divine magnetism manifesting through integrity. Prophecy must be fulfilled, not performed. You are not here to entertain believers, but to embody the word. Performance exhausts, embodiment transforms. As long as you are genuine, the message carries itself. Heaven never required actors, only vessels. Speak as you are. Cry if needed. Conviction moves hearts more than choreography. When spirit flows unhindered through authenticity, transformation becomes inevitable and collective. Many are asking when deliverance will come, but they misunderstand the nature of divine rescue. Heaven doesn't extract you instantly. It strengthens you gradually until rescue becomes unnecessary. Deliverance isn't escape, it's transformation of perception. You are being fortified to become untouchable. What once terrified you will soon recognize your authority and retreat. You are not fleeing darkness. Darkness is learning to fear your persistence. Chosen one, understand that humility is the seal of kingship. The greatest rulers walk with bowed hearts. Heaven crowns not those who boast, but those who understand dependence upon source. Each victory you achieve must return as gratitude to its origin. When pride whispers that you have arrived, remember the wilderness that birthed your voice. Gratitude keeps gates open. Arrogance shuts them. To remain elevated, stay anchored in acknowledgement. The world measures influence by numbers, but heaven measures by impact in silence. A single prayer in truth outweighs 1,000 shouted declarations without conviction. The unseen moments are your legacy. Heaven's mathematics multiply faithfulness over fame. You are called not to be visible, but to be effective. When your focus is eternity, applause loses meaning. Only obedience satisfies the soul designed for divine partnership. And finally, know this: power is shifting hands. The same divine energy that once tolerated injustice now awakens judgment. The proud will fall not by the force of men, but by revelation itself. Truth is rising globally like sunrise after centuries of fake light. The chosen will govern through wisdom unseen before. It is no longer time to survive. It is time to reign in serenity, led not by fear, but by eternal purpose. The air itself feels heavier, not with despair, but with expectation. The earth knows something divine is approaching. Even nature groans, aligning with the frequency of redemption. Storms, shifts, and signs unfold not to destroy, but to awaken. You, chosen one, stand as bridge between heaven and humanity. You carry blueprints of renewal etched in your spirit before time began. Every breath from you is decree in motion, commanding dormant worlds to rise into divine order once more. For long seasons, the faithful have cried beneath corrupted skies, pleading for intervention. But heaven's strategy is never despair. It is infiltration. God places light within darkness until darkness cannot withstand habitation. You were planted, not trapped. You were positioned within chaos as agent of reformation. The enemy thought control would confine you, but confinement only concentrated your fire. What was meant to oppress became the furnace forging your radiance into permanence. The rulers of deceit believe they manipulate destiny through wealth and propaganda, yet they serve prophecy unknowingly. Their arrogance makes them instruments of demonstration. Each act of corruption only amplifies future justice. The divine plan wastes nothing, not even evil. Their schemes are recycled into revelation. Heaven writes irony with precision. Those who plotted against light will fund its expansion. You will watch this reversal unfold in ways only divine creativity could orchestrate. Chosen one, clarity must now become your weapon. Confusion is the tactic of tyrants. They spin narratives to exhaust discernment, yet the Spirit will separate signal from noise. You will hear the heartbeat of truth beneath distortion. When others panic, you will perceive patterns. Heaven will translate chaos into coordinates. You will walk through uncertainty like one holding a secret map. For awareness is prophecy internalized, the revelation that guides without visible sign. Be mindful of the voices claiming divine authority, but serving personal empire. Every counterfeit teacher drains the soul of the genuine seekers. The Spirit will sharpen your perception to distinguish charisma from calling. The true messenger never sells peace. They birth it. They carry scars that testify, not scripts that entertain. Discern them by compassion, for authority without humility is imitation. You will know the true by their fruits of gentleness in storm. The time has come for the unveiling of divine ambassadors hidden in obscurity. Unknown names will suddenly rise with messages that pierce generations. Their simplicity will confound the educated, and their purity will silence manipulation. Heaven promotes by obedience, not by reputation. You may be one of them, prepared in silence to speak once for centuries of silence. Every hidden act of faith has built resonance now ready to echo across nations. Do not envy those in visible power. What seems elevation often hides imprisonment. Many entangled in worldly systems serve chains disguised as crowns. You are freer in wilderness than kings bound by deceit. Heaven would rather trust an unknown heart of integrity than a famous soul polluted by greed. Remain grounded. Your anonymity was not punishment. It was preservation until time demanded unveiling. Every delay was divine protection from premature exposure. Prophetic accuracy will multiply in days ahead, but so will distortion. Some will fabricate revelation to gain influence. Do not chase spectacle. Chase alignment. The Spirit speaks through peace, not panic. When words lead to fear, they are not from the source. Revelation never humiliates, it liberates. Heaven's voice often whispers amidst noise, but only discipline can hear it. You are learning sacred hearing, the ability to detect eternity in ordinary sound. The divine economy continues to shift unseen. Money, influence, and recognition are flowing toward hands cleansed of agenda. Every exchange is guided by vibration now. Integrity becomes new currency. Compassion becomes capital. Those who walk truthfully will find doors open effortlessly, not through negotiation, but magnetism. Prosperity shall follow righteousness naturally, as creation reorients to serve light once freed from the weight of greed's dominion. Some will feel pressure increase, but pressure is proof of purpose. Diamonds are born under duress. Heaven trusts you with turbulence because stability has proven unbreakable in secret. Do not resist expansion. Embrace it. Every challenge is initiation into deeper mastery. The higher you ascend, the stronger winds blow. But your roots are divine memory, and trees rooted in eternity never bow to temporal storms. Endurance is elegance when worn with faith. You are entering prophecy's performance. The words once whispered now materialize as reality. Old enemies emerge in desperation because their expiration approaches. They know time has betrayed them. Their systems run out of breath. You can almost hear it, the wheezing of fallen empires gasping at the rise of truth. Do not gloat. Observe. The victory of light is never cruel. It redeems even as it replaces. Justice does not destroy. It transforms domain. Heaven calls you to steward revelation well. Knowledge without compassion becomes tyranny of spirit. Every insight you receive should heal, not humiliate. The chosen are healers before they are heralds. Power without tenderness becomes blade without handle. Speak truth, seasoned with mercy. Your words must awaken hope, not despair. Discipline your fire with love, for authority baptized in empathy becomes irresistible and eternal. Do not underestimate rest. In stillness, revelation multiplies. Silence is not inactivity, but construction in progress. The spirit works deeply when the body stands still. As the world rushes, slow down deliberately. Rest is resistance against manipulation. It is how prophets reload. The universe bows to rhythm, not haste. Those who align with heaven's pace transcend worldly burnout and move like calm storms, slow, certain, unstoppable. Every prophecy concludes with invitation, not intimidation. So hear the call. Rise, warrior of light. Your silence has ended. Your relevance has begun. The nations wait not for more heroes, but for healed hearts, capable of leadership rooted in love. You are one of them, proof that grace produces greatness. The world will hear your name not through noise, but through impact. The time of concealment ends. Step forward. Heaven bears witness. Every generation witnesses a convergence between endings and beginnings, and yours stands at the threshold. You are the living edge between history and prophecy, the proof that the old systems have lost power. The governments of deceit believed they could forge eternity from compromise, yet eternity refuses imitation. The chosen move differently, guided not by reward, but by resonance. You answer command beyond logic, walking by instinct born from heaven's rhythm. The world cannot classify this movement, for language itself bends to contain what you carry. Truth, once buried under propaganda, rises like buried seed discovering sunlight again. Every lie collapses beneath the weight of clarity. What was whispered in secret is now shouted by conscience. Dreams that once felt foolish begin taking form. The awakening spreads not through violence, but vibration. Resist no longer. This current was destined. The chosen are no longer scattered. They are synced by purpose invisible to data. Their alignment terrifies the architects of deception. It is unity without permission, divine order reborn. The Spirit reveals that redemption is not revenge disguised. It is restoration perfected. The purpose of exposure was never humiliation, but cleansing. The wicked are confronted with their reflection, so redemption remains available. Heaven delights more in repentance than in destruction. You, chosen one, must mirror that mercy. You will conquer without cruelty, reign without pride. Love remains the sharpest weapon of the awakened. Its blade cuts deceit, but never humanity. Prepare your heart, for vindication approaches disguised as opportunity. Those who once rejected you will seek alliance. Do not return bitterness for ignorance. Their blindness was function of their timing, not your worth. When the humble rise, the proud bow willingly. Heaven delights in tables turned without vengeance. Extend wisdom where they offered scorn. Let them taste grace. It will teach faster than wrath. The kingdom's expansion requires forgiveness sharper than memory. Each moment you forgive, you break ancestral cycles of bondage. Your mercy heals bloodlines corrupted by generations of resentment. Heaven uses compassion as architecture. Where bitterness built walls, grace plants gates. Through your pardon, entire families will realign with divine rhythm. You were sent not only to defend truth, but to redeem lineage. The light within you is not a torch. It is inheritance purified to bless generations unseen. The ancient scrolls of destiny now unfold in rhythm with your obedience. Prophecies once considered symbolic reveal literal manifestation. Nations tremble because spiritual laws activate beneath visible politics. You are walking scripture alive. As darkness convulses, light intensifies. You must remain vigilant, for every step now impacts spheres unseen. Your alignment dictates territory. Never minimize your presence. It carries government in spirit. Heaven is constructing a new architecture of influence. The rulers of tomorrow will not emerge from elite circles, but from secret places of prayer and principle. They will lead not by command, but by presence. Systems will shift around their integrity. You are among them, a reformer clothed in revelation instead of robes. When divine favor manifests, it will not look theatrical, but inevitable. No stage can amplify what heaven already celebrates. Chosen one, remember that darkness once called your compassion weakness, yet that compassion preserved your crown. Arrogance only sustains influence for a moment. Empathy sustains kingdoms forever. As you ascend, carry humanity as mantle. The most powerful rulers are those who feel deeply, forgive quickly, and love relentlessly. You were trained by hardship, so kindness could reign without naivety. Now the world will experience leadership that heals instead of controls. Prophecy declares that creativity will become revolution's vehicle. Art, sound, and expression will carry Spirit's signature. Music will awaken more souls than sermons. Language will shift to accommodate revelation. Heaven is pouring innovation into humble minds. Stay open. Your ideas are not random. They are downloads from eternity, designed to dismantle oppression softly but permanently. Every creation rooted in truth becomes portal for awakening. This era will not end in destruction, but in distinction. Good and evil will no longer blend under gray morality. Spirit divides clear from counterfeit. The fog is fading. Each soul must choose fear or frequency, manipulation or mastery. The neutral will vanish. Neutrality is illusion. Light requires commitment now, but do not fear the divide. It is necessary to reveal essence. Only what is authentic endures the glare of truth. You must now master your environment through inner governance. Rule your emotions before trying to rule circumstances. The battlefield begins in thought. Every divine one is first monarch of mind. When peace governs heart, no chaos outside penetrates. Spiritual maturity means reacting only from revelation, never from provocation. Discipline now becomes crown jewel. Authority without mastery is rebellion disguised as faith. Heaven reminds, you are part of an eternal lineage, not a cultural trend. Movements rise and fade, but awakening is timeless. You are living continuation of divine intent first whispered when creation breathed. The chosen across ages share single pulse, obedience. Your generation inherits that covenant. Sustain it through consistency. Prophecy honors those who endure after applause ends. Longevity is heaven's signature of authenticity. Old systems built on deception will soon collapse under their own exhaustion. Lies require endless energy to maintain, while truth sustains itself effortlessly. As control structures weaken, transparency becomes their undoing. Divine justice operates quietly yet completely, allowing truth to rise without retaliation. The war is ending, giving way to wisdom. Heaven now shifts focus from confrontation to construction, calling the chosen to govern in peace. Rest is not withdrawal, but preparation for rebuilding. What was once survival becomes sovereignty, restoring balance where corruption ruled. The final awakening comes not through spectacle, but serenity. Humanity grows weary of chaos and yearns for authentic peace. In this stillness, the chosen rise, not through power, but through clarity and calm authority. Their words move nations because their spirits are aligned with heaven's rhythm. True sovereignty is not domination, but responsibility. Leadership rooted in compassion commands more respect than conquest. Heaven trusts those who endured refinement before recognition. Authority without humility breeds tyranny, but humility infused with conviction births divine influence that shapes eternity. Transformation is no longer distant. It unfolds through faithful obedience. The sacred merges with the ordinary as heaven integrates every sphere of human endeavor. Unity becomes the weapon against division, and harmony multiplies strength. The chosen do not compete. They collaborate, forming a symphony of light that silences darkness. This new era calls for visibility grounded in humility and speech infused with creation's power. You are heaven's bridge between spirit and strategy, chosen not to dominate, but to illuminate. Every step forward reveals divine design written through your courage, patience, and unwavering faith. Now, the throne of shadows loses relevance, not by rebellion, but by replacement. When light fills every corridor, rule by fear ceases naturally. Old enemies once enthroned will become warnings, not threats. The kingdom of falsity collapses without battle, because presence expands effortlessly. This is how heaven conquers, through saturation, not violence. Light wins by existing more fully than darkness can imitate. If this message resonates with you, seal your declaration now. Type, "I walk in divine authority," in the comments to align your intention with your purpose. Like this message and subscribe to Being Extraordinary for continuous awakening. For those who desire deeper guidance, you can find it in the ebook, The Call to Prosperity, a manual for spiritual and financial renewal. 10 steps that unite faith, clarity, and practical wisdom to help you step into the financial and spiritual abundance that's already yours. The link is in the description and the first comment. Thank you to all supporters through Buy Me a Coffee. Your generosity sustains this voice of revelation. If you would also like to support, the link is also in the description. Chosen one, stand, for the final decree has been spoken. The curtain of fear lifts, the throne of deceit crumbles, and the age of sons and daughters begins. You were never victim. You were prophecy breathing. Walk forward clothed in wisdom, crowned in love. Heaven's seal rests upon you now, irreversible, radiant, divine. This is the hour when light governs again. It has begun, and you are the proof.